She was like, Izzy, I think that all of your other like nudes are quite artistic and I respect them, but this one's a bit distasteful. And I was like, okay, mom, sorry. He kissed me and I kissed him back and it was disgusting. It's good to just talk about things and not be so fearful that everyone's gonna cancel. People need to stop doing that.
Yeah, so you can talk as if, yeah, you're just talking to me, but
we're on a podcast.
Don't, where people will listen. So I think the best thing I've realised is when you're talking about you and your own experiences.
Yeah.
Like, you never want to talk about someone else. Like, I think if you're saying, this happened to me, I had a relationship and I was cheated on and this is how it made me feel, I think that's like great. But it's if you were to start being like, this person was doing this, it's like that's when
it starts to feel uncomfortable because you're like talking about someone else.
Yeah. And making assumptions about
how they're feeling. Yeah. Okay. And then that makes you feel uncomfortable and makes you second guess and
afterwards you might be like, why did I say that about that person?
Yeah.
But if you're just saying the truth of what was happening for you, it's fine.
Okay, cool. That's good advice. Yeah. Although I already do that in my head all the time.
What do you mean?
Like the way that I think is like, I'm always thinking like, how are you going to interpret what I said? Or like, how was that interpreted? Or how was my facial expression being interpreted right now? Like, I'm meant to smile or nod or whatever.
Because you want to protect my feelings. It's like a people-pleasing thing. You want to make sure everything you say sits right with the other person.
Yeah, I guess it is people-pleasing. I thought, yeah.
And you're worried to offend anyone or something?
No, I think it's just how my brain works.
Yeah. So I think that's good because it means you're empathetic. Because there are some people who have no understanding of the other person and they're just... But if you start changing what you're doing based on the response, I think that's when it's not good.
Yeah. Can lose yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so where were we when we last recorded?
So in WeWork.
Yeah.
In Victoria.
And you were about to go to Peru.
Yes. Was I? Yeah. I was about to go to Peru for my travels. And yeah.
And now you're back.
And now I'm back. Back from all of that.
So
and
how's it
I
been?
feel
When
different.
was that? Was that September?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like such a long time ago though. It really doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been 3 months.
It's been 3 months. Yeah, 3 months.
So what happened? Fill us in.
Okay.
You've been in South America and then the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, South America and then the Arctic Circle. I was in South America. I wanted to go like backpacking and so I went.
You've been before, right?
Yeah.
Do you have your tea bag out, by the way?
No, it's so strong. What do I do with it?
Just put it on the table.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Okay. It's a good tea.
Peppermint and licorice.
Peps and lick. Rish.
Okay. Had you been to South America?
I'd been to Central America before. I went to Guatemala, Panama, Costa Rica, and I did the whole backpacking thing, except I somehow felt like I hadn't truly done it because I was with my boyfriend at the time, my ex now, and so I wanted to do it again in a more like finding myself way, and because I was a bit older. Well, I think that's hilarious because honestly, like,
what?
I think that I mean, I didn't have any like major epiphanies while I was there. But I did have a good time.
Great.
Yeah.
Should we quickly recap on who you are and what we talked about in the first episode?
Yeah, should we?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you remember talking about from the first one?
So in the first episode, I was just talking about myself, and we were talking about eating disorders, we were talking about growing up, relationships with parents, divorce, guilt, dancing, pole dancing, bullying. Yeah, those things. I think that's probably what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if people want to hear it, they can go back.
Yeah, if you want to hear it, you can go back and listen.
But basically, you're from South Africa. You've been in the UK for the past however many years.
Yes, for 6 years. You
just finished at Cambridge.
Just finished at Cambridge, and
Masters of biomedical engineering.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, so this adventure was like finished, going on an adventure. What did you think you were going to find?
I don't know.
So the other trip, do you feel like it was more your boy? How old were you on the other trip?
Like 20 years old, 21 years old.
And did you feel like it was more your boyfriend was like organising the trip and you were going along with it or something?
No, we definitely did everything together. I guess it wasn't like that challenging, I guess. Like, and I think that's this time I went around as well, and I maybe was looking for like, I think that you really grow when you have challenges, and I think that the way that backpacking works nowadays is very different to how it was in the past, just because of how we have technology and we've got our phones, which takes away a lot of the challenges and excitement and everything. And like, I guess it was all very smooth sailing and enjoyable, which is good, but there weren't a lot of challenges, and so like there wasn't a lot of opportunities to grow.
Interesting. So you wanted more stuff to go wrong?
Yeah. I guess so.
Huh.
Although, yeah.
So was it really planned out? You went to Peru.
No, it wasn't planned out.
Salcantay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The alternative to the Inca Trail.
The alternative to the Inca Trail. And that was my highlight of my entire trip traveling. Like I really, really, really want to do it again. Kerry, the girl who I was backpacking with, which is another reason why I think I didn't really challenge myself. I think when you're with someone, like, you're really in your comfort zone. I think if I were to go alone, that would be probably really good.
Have you ever done a trip on your own?
No, I haven't. You recently just came back from a trip by yourself.
Yeah.
How was it?
To Copenhagen. Just a weekend. It was so good. I loved it. You know how people are like, some people like, if you haven't travelled alone, like you haven't, people can be really aggressive about it. But I don't really feel like that. I feel like it's like whatever you need to do. But that was like, do whatever you want to do. If you don't want to travel by yourself, why do you need to do that? But for me, it felt like something I had so much fear around, which sounds maybe weird because I've like moved around and been to, I don't know, I think that's like the 53rd country I've been to, like not that it's a competition. I mean, who really cares? But you know what I mean? It's like I've been, it's not like, oh my God, I've never been traveling. Like I've been to Egypt and Brazil and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's always maybe what you're describing. It's like someone else is really like onto it and organised the whole thing, or like, or I'm going with friends or to see a friend, and then to go somewhere and it's like I have to make the decisions myself. Like I have to choose what flight. This sounds so stupid. I'm gonna listen back to this and be like, this is great. But it's like, what hotel? Like, who am I? Like, what kind of hotel do I want to stay in? That was so scary for me, and I know that might sound, but maybe it's like if you've always been in a relationship or you've always you know, and maybe that's my situation, it's scary to be like, what are my preferences when it's not choosing with another person? It's just deciding on my own. Anyway, so I did that.
That's so true. I resonate with that so much. I feel like it's so much easier to just like let other people kind of like guide you and like not really have to think like what do you want yourself, just in not only on like going on holidays but in like every single day aspects of your lives. But I think it's because we're social beings, so like we're so used to always thinking about others and working in like groups and stuff that we aren't like, I don't think it's like for some people it's not natural to think about yourself first because of the way that we grow up in communities.
And I think maybe there's like a female thing, or where I've come from, when it's like wrong to think about yourself, and because it's like you need to sacrifice yourself and put everyone in front of you.
Yeah.
And even talking about it, I feel like, oh my god, that's so indulgent that I went away by myself.
Yeah.
Like, who am I to do that?
Yeah.
It's like I should be at home like washing laundry of children that I don't have.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's this whole complicated thing. Because that's not like exploring. Like yours is like an exploration trip, which is kind of an adventure. Like I feel like if you're off on an adventure by yourself, that's different. I don't know. No, because I have done that. I've like gone skiing in Austria on my own, but like joined a group, and then that's more like you're on an adventure.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, I'm gonna treat myself like just for myself, that can be a really scary thing to do.
Do you feel guilty?
I just feel like I know there are some people in my life who don't understand that, or who don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have this sense that it's like, oh my god, I can't go and get a massage for myself. That's like wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I need to like deprogram that stuff.
Yeah, you do. Because you deserve to be happy and just enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that about, if I said I'm struggling with things, you would think that about me, like you would want.
Yes. You know? Yeah, I feel like I don't deserve that.
I know.
So that's what I've got to do. Anyway, don't know how this
I also feel like that.
Oh no.
No, but it's fine.
Well, I think this is what we're talking about if you're working towards something. So if you're like, I'm working towards building my life and going out into the world and finding opportunities and being self-sufficient, or working towards that at least, or doing that with a partner or whatever it is, and then you're like, great, I'm doing that, and now I deserve like I need balance. It's not even to deserve, it's like you can't, if you only work forever and never have a break, what's the point in that? It's like you need it in balance.
Yeah.
But you do, if you don't feel like you're, I don't know, if you're doing nothing, that doesn't feel good.
No. No. It's the yin and the yang.
Okay. So. Okay, so you went on this trip. Great.
I went on this trip. And I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I was saying the one thing I specifically enjoyed was the Salkantay trek that I did, where I went trekking in the mountains to get to Machu Picchu. It was like a 6-day long thing, and by the time we actually got to Machu Picchu, like no one really cared about Machu Picchu. It was just the whole journey itself that people like enjoyed. What have you?
Machu Picchu's so pretty.
Yeah, I was so cold when I got there, but I mean it was cool. It was cool. But I loved the whole journey of it. Was like amazing. And like I really felt like for the first time like just so free on that trek. And it was really, really amazing. Like it was really hard. It was really difficult. And like we were really high altitudes. So it was like, even just walking up like 5 stairs is like difficult. And we were like climbing a mountain. It was like a climb more than a hike. And like waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and it's freezing cold and you just have to go and you go and you walk until 7 o'clock in the evening and then you have dinner and then you sleep in tents and then you wake up again at 4 o'clock in the morning. You just have to go and like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. No one can really save you or help you if something happens. Like it was quite scary. But like it was, I've never been so happy. Like I just remember thinking like, fuck, I need to do this my whole life. Like I think this always happens with me. Like I find something that makes me happy and then I'm like, oh my God, like yes, that's the answer. But I do think that trekking is like really magical in the sense that like you don't have your phone. There's no signal. That's like one thing that like we have our phones around us all the fucking time. Like technology is so pervasive in our world and it hasn't always been like this and it does impact us. It does take up a lot of space in our mind. Not having to think about that was one thing. But just going through like I didn't once think about anything like to do with myself, like any of my problems. I wasn't like caring about like my weight or like what like do I need to do in my future, like what do I like, what does Izzy enjoy, like all of these things. Like I never thought about that once and it was so freeing. Like kind of like that, like what people talk about with like ego death. I felt like I had that the entire, I didn't have an ego death, but like I had that like freedom from the sense of like worrying about the I and like who am I, that entire trek, because all you're worrying about is like I'm waking up, okay, I need to walk and I'm tired and I'm walking and I'm putting the next step and then I'm going to eat and I'm going to have a delicious meal and like I'm grateful for all of this food and then I'm going to sleep, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to walk and like you're just in the nature, like no technology. Like you don't care that you haven't showered. You don't care that like you're wearing the same clothes every single day. Like you don't care about any of this materialistic stuff. Like you just don't care about like all of the things that are material in our world that I think also like make us stressed about our individuality of who we are as well. You know, like our social media presence, all of this stuff. It was like gone and it was so nice. It was so nice. I loved it.
Did you have any trigger stuff with the food or you just could eat it?
No, I was just eating anything, actually. I remember I took a picture of like a pancake that I ate in the morning because I was like, I have not had a pancake in like 10 years. And I was like, no, I have to eat it because I'm going to be like really tired. And I mean, I remember being like, okay, that's silly. Like I didn't need to eat it, but like,
but you didn't have guilt and stuff about it.
I didn't have a lot of guilt. I did have some thing in my head, but like then that went away as soon as we started walking and I was like, fuck, I'm so tired. Yeah.
I think when I did the Inca Trail, I was really cared about my Instagram, so I really cared about the photos. And this was like 5 years ago or something, and I would put makeup on every day.
Oh my God, Delia.
Whereas when this summer or whenever, when I was hiking in India, I was totally like you. Yeah, I did not care about anything. I was so present. It was great. But I was like processing a breakup and like meditating by the stream and just like crying. Anyway, but it was good. It's so you're just like, oh my God, let's look at the stars.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay. And what else? Where else did you go? Bolivia?
I went to Bolivia. So basically how the trip worked was in Peru, it was like get there, it was like complete like consumerist holiday backpacker vibes. Like everyone arrives like in Lima, like there's like this typical backpacking trail that you do, and like all the hostels have like the same route that you go, and like the same like bus company that you can get that can easily take you from one place to the next. And at every single destination there's like package deals that you can get on like go sand duning or go hiking or go kayaking, whatever. Kerry and I were like super resistant to like do the typical gringo trail, and so like we didn't take like do the packages with the buses and all that stuff, but we still landed up doing the same things anyways. So Peru was really constructed. By the time we got to Bolivia, we were a lot more chilled, and we stayed in La Paz, in the capital, and like we partied there a lot. Why
are you making that face?
I'm just listening to myself. I'm like, who the fuck cares?
Did you feel any stuff with the social media, like what you were posting? Were you stressed about any of that stuff?
Yeah. I definitely cared about it. And I think that being with Kerry, like, I could, like, totally, like, we were polar opposites in the sense that, like, Kez, I still have all of our pictures from our travels, all on my phone. I haven't sent them to Kerry yet. But she doesn't, like, I keep telling her, okay, I'm going to make a shared album, I'm going to send them all. And she's like, oh, it's fine, don't worry, like, doesn't matter. And I'm like someone who, like, especially on holidays, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to capture this. Like, and, like, yeah, I did care about it a little bit, which is like,
of like, what will people's reaction be?
Yeah.
But because you, we don't have to talk about this if you don't want.
No, that's fine.
Because I know last time I saw you, you were like, I'm thinking of posting these kind of photos, but I don't know how people will react.
Really?
Don't you remember that?
No.
In Cambridge, you were showing me a pole dancing photo.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I've posted a photo in a bikini before. And you're like, no, mine are like, like more sensual vibes, I guess. And then you did end up posting that, I think.
Yeah.
And then, did you feel good about that?
Yeah, I think, like, so at the moment, look, I always, first and foremost, like to say, like, oh, I'm above all of this, and, like, I don't care about Instagram, and I don't care, like, I don't think it's important or anything like this, but I do, like, enjoy it as a platform. I think, like, every single person gets a dopamine hit when they get a like on their picture. And I do feel like there is, like, it is nice to document these things, and it is nice, like, a nice outlet to document stuff, but, like, of course, like, it's also really toxic and all of that stuff. But anyways,
why is it toxic?
I think that Instagram can be toxic because it can, like, any piece of, like, technology that we have, like, it kind of disconnects us from humans, like, and it turns humans into, like, these things that we just look at online and observe and try, like, be better than, and, like, instead of actually, like, having this personal human connection of, like,
if it's too fake.
Yeah. And, like, if you get to know me without, like, Instagram, like, and having anything online, any social media presence is, like, someone's gonna, like, you get to know a human being in a totally different way to how we did 20 years ago, where you had to wait for that person to tell you all the different parts of themselves and discuss them and come up naturally, whereas now you have, like, this, like, showroom kind of online thing of, like, look, this is who I am, and you can make all of these judgments before you actually get to know the person in real life. Like, it's completely changed how we make connections.
Because you deleted did you delete everything? All social media at some point?
Yeah, I did. Because I just, like, couldn't deal with the fact that, like, people were going to, I guess like I'm quite a like shapeshifter and chameleon, and like I couldn't deal with the fact that I had to make like one type of like curate like one type of personality online. But like, how do I don't even know what that personality is, because I change so often, and I change my views and my perspectives and like my looks and all of this stuff, and like that's a lot of pressure to have to make something that you think really depicts yourself, because people are going to be judging you for it. So that's why I deleted it.
And did you delete Instagram?
Yeah.
Facebook?
I
Did
still
you
have
Are
that.
you too young for Facebook?
No, I was the last one in my class to ever join Facebook. I hated it. Because I also thought it was wrong. Like, I just thought it was wrong. Like, that we curate these things online. Like, just show off.
Did you...
I do that, by the way, so you can say that. It's fine.
Did you have a lot on your Instagram when you deleted it?
No. Yeah, I had a little bit. I had a lot of like pictures of me when I was like, I think anorexic, and there were lots of pictures of me. Right now, my Instagram is full of pictures of me, but I remember before looking at it and being like, oh, all these pictures of me, people are gonna think I'm vain, so I deleted them. But the whole thing of Instagram is a bit vain, so it's fine. Now I've accepted it.
Yeah. I think, yeah, when you know that's just, it's kind of a game, or it's a game for some people, it's a livelihood for other people, it's whatever, something for them to genuinely share with their friends.
Yeah.
And when you just see what everyone's using it for, and you separate your identity, and then you can just post whatever you want. Yeah, my entire Instagram, I think every single photo is me in it. But I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But also I don't really post. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't posted on there in ages.
Yeah.
And I don't really use it anymore.
You go through stages, and I think like you can have a lot of opinions at the same time about it. But it's such a big thing. I mean, look, we're even talking about it right now. It's such a huge thing in our lives. Like, it's actually insane.
Yeah. I think some people have really figured it out, where it's literally, they just love posting their happy... It's a way of... Because now I think I'm doing that with WhatsApp. Like, when I'm on holidays or, like, doing something, then I'll send people photos. Like, now I just had Christmas in Oxford. It was my friend and her family, and it's like, happy Christmas, and then it's like, yay, like, look at, here's a photo of me and the dogs. And that's how it's like, okay, I'm sending that photo to people who like care about seeing that photo, because they're people who love me and care about me. And I think the people who use Instagram like that, like, they're like, guys, look at me, like, having Christmas with my dog, and everyone, it's like their family and friends, you know, it is that thing, which I think is how it was set up to be. And then that's really nice for them, and they're not connected to like how many, they're just like, yay, my like 50 friends liked it, and that's it. But when it turns into a thing of like comparing numbers, or only posting things when you look in a certain way, and
I mean, I think I also like to think of it as, I just want all my friends to be able to keep up with me, and I want to keep up with my friends, and that's why I got it again. And I want them to see that, like, where I am, so that, like, because I'm shitty at WhatsApp, so, like, you know, like, it's an easy way of, like, them staying connected. And what?
Yeah, because I just because I did something so stupid that I unfollowed everyone.
Yeah.
So I was like, because I was like, Instagram, it's not helpful for me to like see all this stuff. It's like really, I don't know, it just felt like it wasn't healthy for me to be looking at Instagram. So I was like, my solution to that is to unfollow everyone so my feed is empty. And then I realized,
you're just gonna get bullshit stuff.
Yes, exactly. They just fill your feed with other stuff. But then I also realized, it's like, okay, well, that could have just been me, like, to just not go on Instagram if I didn't want to see it. But then I realized, oh my God, I've severed these not severed, because now I've started following people back. But I feel awkward. It's like, oh my God, sorry for unfollowing you. That wasn't like a personal thing. That was a me thing. And then there's all these like things that you feel like, but then I was like, oh my God, just because I don't, you know, follow someone, it doesn't mean, like, my dad doesn't have Instagram, but it doesn't mean I don't have a relationship with, you know, it's like relationships exist in real life as well. But then there are some relationships that only kind of, there are some good relationships that exist online, and then so it's so complicated.
It's so complicated because like if you meet someone naturally in person, you can behave in a, like, whenever you have a connection or a relationship with someone or friendship, it's like always specific to that person. Like I will be like maybe it's not, I don't act so differently, but like you're a different person to another person I would be, like, let's say talking to, and I would talk about different things. We would, because each connection that you have with each person is unique. But then you have Instagram where you have to have this connection that needs to like cater to like 500 or how many followers you have. And that's really hard. I guess that's also why it's hard to know like what you should post or like what's appropriate and what's like how you should be, because I don't think that it is possible to be like one person to all of the 500 people who are looking at you. You're slightly different to each of them.
Oh, and actually that's what happened to me, because I was like, oh, now I'm trying to do this podcast and do this other stuff, and I want to post about it, and I don't want to annoy people who just want to be friends with me, but they're not interested in my podcast. So I was like, oh, we'll start a personal account, and then I just could never be doing that, and now I'm like, oh, what am I doing? But I think I'm the opposite of you, that I have all the stuff from when I used to live in New York and when I really cared about it and I was posting all the time. And I probably, did have photos that didn't have me in it, like pretty New York photos. And that's like a special thing to me. So it's nice it's on the page.
Yeah.
And I can go back and see that part of my life.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I did go back and like hide some stuff because it maybe doesn't age well. Just stuff, me being stupid, like drunk stuff.
Yeah. Oh
like,
my God.
And then that's a whole nother aspect of, but I think that's why that was part of deleting my Facebook. I was worried because, you know, you say stupid stuff when you're a teenager.
Yeah, the shit that I put on when I was a teenager, like put on stuff of like, oh, like I'm at a club and I lost my shoes and now I'm on the beach and now I found a bergie, which is a derogatory word for a homeless person. Cancel that, take it out. And I was like, the bergie has my shoes. I took my shoes back and my feet were cut. And this is all on video. And I'm like, oh, I'm so drunk. And then I'm like, oh, go home with some guy. Oh, guys, look, I'm home. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Woohoo. Like, that was on my Snapchat. Like,
you were filming yourself.
Yeah. And I was like, wah! Just screaming the whole time. I'm like 14, 15 years old. I think I probably got traumatized from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but how do you feel now? Do you feel like now you're posting stuff that's authentic to you and you're detached from the likes? No.
No. Okay, the likes I don't really care because they're not like a huge amount, and I'm not...
Also because you start again from scratch.
Yeah.
And you're on private.
And I'm on private because I post like slightly risque stuff. But I don't post stuff like... I don't think that what I post like is... I mean, I think it's more authentic to me and like I like the stuff that I post. I don't post a lot often. But there are still things that like maybe I would like to post that I think are inappropriate. Like that people would think are inappropriate, but I don't think they're inappropriate. Like maybe more like just like sexual stuff and like, but like in artistic ways that like I think are really nice. I don't know. I feel like there's still a boundary, but I guess that's just like the boundary of like having to conform in society where you have to wear clothes.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting on your couch with no pants on right now.
But you've got a blanket on.
I have a blanket on.
Okay, so yeah, but some of that's Instagram's rules as well, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever got in trouble for that?
No.
I got reported once on Facebook. There was a boy this is so sad. I went on exchange in France to Toulouse when I was in school, and this boy, Quentin, was later murdered. So horrible, like random attack on the street. Anyway, he, in a photo, was like flashing the like mooning the camera. And then someone reported it to me of like showing inappropriate content. Sorry, this is nothing to do with the murder. This was like 10 years before. But someone reported it. So have you ever got in trouble?
No.
Okay.
Got in trouble on Instagram?
Yeah. Of like someone reporting your photo?
No. But I have had like trouble with a friend that I lost from posting a picture.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about it.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I think this is the thing that we're saying at the start. Like, if you do want to talk about it, make sure you say, yeah, whatever, to not, so that later you're not like, do you delete the podcast?
Oh my God. Yeah, no.
I more wanted to ask if you feel awkward if, like, your parents see the stuff. Can you just explain some of the stuff you post so people aren't like, what are they talking about? And why is she not wearing pants into this house?
Okay, so I like posting, like, pictures of, and I have posted pictures of just, like, being naked in nice, like, natural environments. I don't think that they're, like, sexual or anything. So, for example, like, just, like, a picture of me running on a path, like, and there's like a sea and mountains and like my bum is in it, but just like my back and from far, and I'm just like chilling, nothing like something just natural about that. But yeah, like I do sometimes post, like when I was in Sweden now and I was in the freezing cold, like I took like a sexy picture of like me with like, I had skiing pants on, I didn't have a top on, and my hands were covering my nipples.
I don't think I saw this. Okay.
And I was like, it's hot today because it was 1 degree and normally it's like negative 20 degrees there.
But see, that would be allowed with Instagram rules, I think.
Which is the funny thing, because it's like it's a super sexual photo. Like, just because you have a nipple or not does not decipher whether the picture is like sexual or sexually inappropriate or not. I think like,
yeah, it's interesting because obviously like that would be a whole nother topic, but if you posted a photo breastfeeding or something, I don't know if that's like against the rules. Yeah, I guess nudity is totally different. Like in my example, the thing on Facebook, that's like not a sexual thing, it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, the boys I went to college which would play this game. So at my 21st, there were photos. This was like so gross for anyone who's listening, but I can't remember what it's called, like sneaky nut or something. And they would like try, and it was like you would take a photo. They'd be like, Julia, can we get a photo with you? Like, you look so beautiful. Like, let's get a photo. And then they would try, like, it would be at some, black tie event, and then they would like undo their fly and have
a sneaky nut.
Yeah. And I remember they did that at I think my brother's friends did that at my 21st. There was a photo booth.
Their dick was sticking out.
Yeah, or something else.
Oh my God.
And then it's like looking through the photos, like even like there's my nana. And then it's like, oh God. Anyway, but so that's obviously a very different type of nudity to you're doing more, not just like flashing to like, take the piss or whatever, like these boys are. It's like presenting it in like what's the word? It's like in an artistic way. It's like something you have on your wall, like.
Yeah. And in a way it's like, don't be like, why should we be so ashamed of like, and what I post is not like, I don't like post necessarily things of a sexual nature. So like, yeah, like I posted a story once which was quite sexual, the one of me in Sweden with like my hands covering my top, and I was like, oh, it's hot today, which I had to delete because someone told, I actually blocked all my like family members on it because I was like, okay, they are not going to be cool with this. But someone ended up telling my mom, and then my mom messaged me and she was like, Izzy, I think that all of your other like nudes are quite artistic and I respect them, but this one's a bit distasteful. And I was like, okay, mom, sorry. And I deleted it.
Oh, tasteful. That was the word I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, your mom. Bless.
I know.
Your mom's like the most tasteful woman alive.
But
who showed her?
I don't know.
And
but
why?
I don't know either. But I just...
Do you feel awkward about them seeing it? Or it's more just like...
No, I just didn't want to give them bothers for them to tell me to take it down.
Yeah.
And I respect them, so like I will take it down if they tell me. But like I don't feel shy. I don't feel shy about it. I don't think it's like... I don't think that like... I just don't understand why sex, why nudity, like why all of this is something that like we should feel shameful about. And like, yeah. I think that there's a lot of... Do you disagree with me?
No, I'm just wondering from what... Well, I guess it's like a time... Like, it's like, why do we wear clothes?
Yeah, there's a time and place for everything.
Well, you need clothes for warmth, but I think it's also to protect yourself. Right? Because that's like... Well, I don't know. Have you spent a lot of time thinking about this?
Yeah, I think clothes are the silliest thing.
You think everyone should get around?
No, I think that we'd all have actually... I think if we were all naked, we'd have less sex. I think clothes actually create the barrier, and
yes.
Clothes protect our body and cover it up, therefore elevating it and making it more special, and therefore creating attraction. In the same way with like an eating disorder, when you don't eat food, you like land up like really like worshipping like certain types of food that you restrict yourself from, and then therefore you want them more badly and you binge. It's like a similar way, I guess.
Interesting.
Do you see?
Yes, but I also think it's about protecting something. There's something about protecting women and children, especially, or anyone, protecting anyone from like, you don't want to, like, I feel like, you know, there's people who,
And
do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Like, if you're just walking around, you don't want to attract... No, but then I'm going to sound like some person who's, like, anti-women. That's not what I mean. But... Okay, but... So, you know, it's, like, attracting some kind of attention.
Yeah.
But that sounds really bad. But do you know what I mean? Like, I know... Sometimes if I... Like, if you dress... I feel like you can't talk about this.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But I'm just talking about my own personal thing.
Yeah.
If I've like... Okay, there's some things I don't care. Like, if you're going on a run and you're wearing like bike shorts and then you attract like, for some reason, men seem to love like women on runs and that's annoying.
Yeah.
But sometimes... like you... I don't...
No,
because I'm just thinking like, ugh, I don't want to talk about this stuff if my mum's listening or something. Okay, but for example, in New York one day, I like couldn't be bothered putting on a bra and I went down the street without one, and the attention I got, as in I was wearing clothes, but the attention I got, I really didn't like. I didn't like being looked at in that way.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like... But even though that was such a trend at the time.
Yeah.
Right? But for me, I didn't want that.
And
so now I'm aware that that might happen if I do that. So do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, if you're gonna... walk around topless, like you'll have people who will, and it's not defending like those people. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to talk about because I don't want to say like, oh, you know, it's like women can dress however they want. They shouldn't be attacked 100%. No one should be attacking anyone. But it's like, if you're not going to wear a top, like you're going to catch people's attention, right?
Yeah. No, totally. I agree. That is the case.
But the children thing is about, I don't know what
that
you don't, well, you don't want people who could be attracted to your children, like looking at them in that way, obviously. No, yeah. But then that's a scary way, because children used to just run around naked, and I was like, okay, I don't know how to think about this stuff.
But what you were saying before, like, I understand, like, when I was doing, like, for example, remember, like, I did, like, one of the pole dancing things at one of the balls in Cambridge, and, like, I was, like, the whole entire team that I was pole dancing with, like, we each did a separate skit, but, like, I wanted to do one of my skits, which was, like, I stripped off in it. I had, like, nipple pasties on. And, like, the one girl
What are they called?
Nipple pasties. Pasties. And the one girl was, like, so against me doing it. Like, there were 3 girls who were also doing, who were also performing. And the one girl specifically was, like, you cannot do this. Like, do not do it. Like, we're going to get a bad rep for the whole team is going to get a bad rep, and blah, 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 blah. And, like, I landed up talking to her, and I was like, it's, like, I don't understand what's wrong with this. Like, why you shouldn't be allowed to do this. And, like, I'm just doing it. I'm not going to, like, what I do is nothing to do with what you do. And, like, you know, I think I should be allowed to. I think it would be enjoyed and it would be received well, and, like, this is the one, like, thing that I, like, skit that I wanted to do, and I really felt good in it, and, like, I ultimately landed up doing it, and I do know that I was dressed in a way that would get attention, and it did get attention, and I was happy to do that. But I remember, like, being on stage, and, like, as soon as, like, I heard like some, like, whistles and some things, and I, like, suddenly just felt like, like, no, I don't want this, like, I don't like this. And, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, your point of, like, how you dress, it is valid. Like, you probably will get attention if you dress in a specific way. Like, that's...
Yeah. Or to your thing, if you don't wear any clothes.
Or if you don't wear any clothes.
But I'm saying maybe that's part of it. It's, like, to protect ourselves. You know, there's that thing where it's, like, women, have you read about this? There's some weight loss thing that they, like, do help these women lose weight who might be, like, obese or really overweight. But then once they do it, they put it back on, and they figured out there's this deeper psychological thing that they were, like, abused, like, sexually harassed, and so that's a protection mechanism to have that weight so they're not attracting male attention. Like, to physically protect themselves.
They were actually sexually assaulted, or, like, people in their past family?
As in, they'd been sexually assaulted, like, by a man on the street or something. Like, they'd been, like... So because they felt like being slim had attracted that, so then they make... It's like a deeper rooted thing to make themselves less attractive. I feel so scared talking about these topics because I just feel like people are, even with the obesity thing, it was like, you know, people are like, you can't talk about trying to get people thin because that's wrong. I feel like go back to Instagram, there's so many, like, really influential people that I follow, and, like, always, like, they have, like, posts, and then they'll have, like, a post straight afterwards being like, sorry, okay, like, this is actually, someone's pointed out this and this and this, that this company I mentioned is unethical, or that, like, there's a different opinion to this, and maybe this is wrong. And, like, I think that, like, there is no, like, it's good to just talk about things and not be so fearful that
everyone's gonna cancel. People need to stop doing that.
And someone can contact us and say,
Hey,
our opinion is you're idiots. This is why we wear clothes. And what you said was disrespectful or something. And then
we can tell everyone else, oh, sorry, this opinion, actually, there's a different opinion and that's a better opinion. But if you stop talking, like, in just silence, like, no one's learning anything. Everyone's just stagnant. And too scared to say anything. Yeah.
And that's my whole point of doing this podcast, so I need to get better at it. I don't know why it's so scary. I think it's so scary for me because maybe I think Australians might be like quite conservative in terms of how they dress and things like that. And maybe the culture I come from in particular. I mean, not like it's extreme, but it's just like you don't. Oh, and maybe people are more judgmental about the photos people post and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I did feel really scared to post a photo on the beach. I feel like...
The one from Mykonos.
On Naxos. But then it's like, who cares?
I know. Think about how many Instagrammers, like, post all of these, like, super sexy photos. They just do it.
And I think if you're not attached to it... Yeah. I don't know. It's like you've got to be allowed to figure stuff out. Anyway.
I think also as a woman, it's like people like are kind of scared to, like, we always want to be like, oh, more in wanting to, like, some movements in wanting to make women more equal to men try actually, like, it could have the effect of shunning away, like, women embracing their femininity and, like, for example, saying, like, oh yeah, like, I can be sexy, or I, like, deserve to, like, you know, like, that's, like, kind of shunned, because it's like you want to be more respected, you want to be more manly, more, you know, serious.
But I think it can go the other way. Actually, there's a really interesting book that I'd love to have on this podcast where they're talking about how it doesn't serve, I don't know, this is a whole nother topic that people, I need to stop caring so much. Well, anyway, but it's like there's this whole other school of thought that's like this sexual revolution has not been good for women because women are,
I'd love to read that,
fundamentally, like, we have different hormone releases from sex and, like, all this stuff, and the idea that women should be able to just go and have one night stands and whatever, that's fine, but it's, wow, I guess it's also, but it's not necessarily, like, if you don't want that, I think that's also fine. I think it's almost gone the other way, when then if you're like, no, I don't want to do that, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you don't,
like, that might not necessarily make, well, it definitely doesn't. Going and sleeping with someone and you don't feel good about it. Yeah. That's fine. You don't need to feel good about that. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it. But it's something about that, like, making women feel like they should be liberated in that way. I don't know.
No, I definitely think that's not nice, and, like, then you can also get onto the pressure that's saying that you need to embrace your sexuality. Like, that could also, in the world that we live in, like, make people think, like, oh, well, now you need to go get your nails done every day, you need to make sure that you're groomed and that you look good, and, like, you know, like, because with, like, sexuality, there is a part of it that is, like, how do you look, also, like, physical, but, like, I don't agree with that, and I think that makes me feel uncomfortable to say that woman, because it feeds into the idea of, like, oh, you just, how you look, you're just an object. Of course, like, I hate that makes me feel extremely uncomfortable, but
then I guess you can, so that, I guess that's my view, that's my idea of feminism, is that you can do whatever you want. Like, if you want to sleep with a million people, go for it. If you don't want to, don't. If you never want to shave or whatever, get your nails done, don't do it. If you do it. And don't, like, hate on someone because they're taking care of themselves in the way that makes them feel good if they want to look like that.
Yeah.
Even if they are influenced by, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, go and get your nails done if you like doing that.
Yeah, and don't feel shame for that. Like, my ex used to be like, oh, he hates girls who wear makeup because, like, you know, makeup's such an archaic thing, and, like, the fact that only women wear it, and, I mean, sometimes only women, like, you know, it's like so archaic that like, what girl with respect for herself would wear makeup? And I'm like, well, yeah, sometimes it's nice to wear makeup. I don't want to then feel like, oh, now I look like I'm trying too hard because I'm wearing makeup or whatever. Like, yeah, just let me do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that the world is, I think, still run by men. I was in a sex shop the other day, and there were these Kegel balls, and, like, on the sign of it, it was like, are you gonna have to delete this from your podcast?
Why?
No, it was like, I actually wanted to vomit. Like, I think I just, like, it was like, you can tighten up, like these Kegel balls can tighten up your vagina, like, or your woman's vagina, so that you can feel like a virgin again. Like, I was like, why the fuck is this, like, it's 2023, like, why the hell is that, like, even existing? That's ridiculous.
But I guess that's my thing on freedom. It's like, if you want to do that, you can, but you don't need to do it. It's like making sure women get positive messages.
But that's not a positive message. Is it not?
Yeah, so now we're sending a positive message that you don't have to do that. But if someone wants to make a product and other people want to buy it, that's okay.
So you think that product is fine?
Well, I'm not buying it. And if someone... No, I get... When people... It upsets me when girls say, like, oh my God, I need to be like this in this certain way for, like, or this guy, or I won't be sexually attractive or something. And I'm like, no, that's totally wrong. And you know, yeah, how strongly I feel about, like, the consent thing, which I've talked about. It's like, you are in control of your body, and you say no whenever you want. Like, only do what you want.
Yeah. And only allow what you want in your space.
Yes, and it's really hard to say no, but you can say no, and you should, if you don't want to do something. And so I think that's like, if someone is asking you to do that to your body and you don't want to, yeah, do not do that. And do not be with someone who only wants you under certain whatever. But if you're like, I don't know, if you're like a mum and you've had all these babies and then you're like, oh, I want to go and do this, like, sure, I'm not stopping you.
True. Yeah, I agree with you. But I still think that there's something that's like, I guess, like, I mean, why can't we say, like, I don't know, yeah, I guess, like, why is there still, like, a negative, it kind of feels, like, offensive that, like
yeah, there's tons of offensive stuff out there.
Yeah.
But I think you just, like, I saw this thread, this Twitter thread, there was this guy being like, why men only want younger women and why men should definitely keep, like, breaking up with older women and going for younger women.
Ah!
But it's just, and I'm like, oof, that doesn't feel great. But then I'm like, I can't tell people what they can and can't say. I'm not going to go and tell Twitter, like, get this man off Twitter, he's spreading, like, a bad message. I think people can work it out themselves. And if you just look around the world, you see, like, you know, my dad's with my mum, like, whatever.
Yeah, you don't need to
like,
be involved with the people who are thinking those thoughts.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't want to be.
Yeah. And there's so many men, if you look around, if you, like, first of all, women, like, you shouldn't feel upset. Like, just look around at the evidence. How many men are with older women, like, like, they meet someone and they stay with them. Or maybe they don't stay with them, and whatever it is, but it's, if you want to be with someone, if you're looking at that and you're like, oh my god, when I'm 80 no one will want to be with me, it's like, well, look around the world and you'll find evidence that that's not true, and that's just one person's thoughts, which isn't nice.
And if you don't agree with them, you don't need to be in that group or social, like, group of people who even think that.
Yeah. And hopefully some younger boys or something reading that, who might be influenced, can also make up their own mind and say, wait, hang on, like, my grandparents stayed together forever and that's a beautiful thing, and I want to...
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like people who, like, only ever be with a virgin or something. It's like, okay, if they only want to be with...
Yeah.
That's fine.
And, like,
do that.
they can get the happiness that they want from that, but that's not your way of getting happiness, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I guess you have to know that there's so many different people in the world, and there's so many different circles that you can belong to, and I think the circles you belong to are really important in finding your happiness, because if you don't resonate with those people and they have different morals and values to you, then you're going to be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
So don't hang out in circles where guys only want to be with virgins. I guess. Go find some rock climbers in South Africa.
Okay.
They tend to be nice. They do.
Yeah. Why rock climbers?
Because, like, I don't know, I just find, like, there's, like, this, it's like the stereotypical rock climber guy, like, walks around barefoot, like, very chilled, not, like, into, like, the, like, I don't know, like, superficial vibes, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not my type. Okay, what else? What else are we covering? I was gonna ask, do you want to talk about... But we don't have to. Okay, we don't have to. No. Okay.
I mean,
No, we can do it another time. Okay, what else happened on the trip? Do you want to talk about Sweden?
Yeah, I'll talk about Sweden.
Or we finished the body conversation? The artistic photos first.
Yeah.
So, generally, you're fine with, like, your family seeing that stuff?
Yeah.
Because you feel like it's tasteful, it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just like, they don't need to see that. Like, I sometimes feel bad for, like, my brother or something. I'm like, okay, he doesn't need to see these photos of me. But I'm quite sexually expressive, and I like that. But, like, I don't feel like I can be on Instagram even now. Like, and I'm also kind of feel like, who am I doing that for? Because I still feel like, I mean, I've got 900 people, and, like, they're all, like, I don't even think that they would appreciate it. I don't think that they'd appreciate it.
So now you just keep it for yourself?
Yeah.
Great. That's fine.
Yeah.
And you can evolve and learn and change, and that's why the archive function's great as well.
Yeah.
Why
aren't there other outlets of expressing yourself other than Instagram?
There are. OnlyFans? No, I'm kidding.
No, I keep thinking about getting an OnlyFans.
Do you want to talk about the other thing you experimented with?
What thing?
The other website. We don't have to talk about.
Oh my god. Which one? Wait. When I met you before Wimbledon.
Yeah.
What's it called?
We don't have to talk about it.
No, I don't mind that.
The sugar daddy. Okay. We can save that for another time.
No, I mean, I don't mind. I went onto a sugar daddy website, but I honestly didn't get far at all. I made a fake Gmail account, and I wanted to see what it would be like, but I didn't actually get far with it at all. I didn't meet anyone. Although at the same time of doing it, I think the universe was sending me a sign. I met a guy at one of the restaurants I was at, who then...
Can we name the restaurant?
Sexy Fish. I didn't realize that that's where all the escorts go. Yeah. And so at the same time as literally in the morning I made this account. And
what was the website called?
It was like sugardaddies.com or something. I was like, I want to experience this.
Good name. Okay, I can't remember.
Like, I don't know, I want a handbag or something.
Yeah.
I don't care about handbags, by the way. But I can afford them myself. But yeah, no, then so I went to this restaurant in the evening after signing up for the Sugar Daddy's website. But I never went back onto that website. And I landed up meeting some sugar daddy person. I realized I had 3 days with that person, and I realized I really felt disgusted by that world. I never ever thought like that I wanted to. It's not for me. I don't judge though. I don't judge anyone, and I wanted to just experience it. That's all. I just wanted to have an experience with it. But yeah, that's all. Basically.
Yeah. So OnlyFans. What, seeking arrangement? Was that it?
Oh, I think so. Maybe. I don't know. But I literally...
It had a really funny name.
It really freaks me out though, because it's just so...
Yeah, I think that's what it was called.
It's so fake.
What?
Like, everything about it is...
What happened with that guy? Oh, you don't want to go into detail?
No, we can't.
Did you ever hear from him again?
Never. I blocked him. But should I explain?
If you want to.
Yeah, I can. So I went to a restaurant.
Oh my God, because that was so funny. Sorry, because we came to Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And we were both like, I have a confession. and mine, it could be bad if I say my confession.
What was it?
That I got contact traced.
Oh yeah.
But you were like, I did too, but I have different confessions. Anyway, whatever.
Fucking hell, the contact tracing.
Okay. We didn't break any rules.
No, we didn't.
Oh, dude. We were fully vaccinated. We didn't have COVID. Okay.
Ooh.
So many confessions.
Oh my God, that day.
Okay, and that was your confession.
Yeah, I basically got this guy to buy me a dress, and it was just hilarious though, because like, I don't know, I met him at Sexy Fish, and with like a whole bunch of guys, and I was with some girls as well, and with 2 other girls, and I kind of instigated it because I was like, oh, like this person's invited us in again for drinks, whatever, and then I was like, oh my God, these guys are like fucking minted, and yeah, I realized that like they were with like 2 other girls who were like really beautiful, like not actually beautiful, but like wearing tight little dresses and whatever, and you could see immediately that they were like escorts. And I was like,
where
okay, cool.
From?
I don't know, they literally didn't even speak that much, but I was like, oh, okay, cool, these are like sugar daddies. Like, this is weird because like this morning I made an account just to experience it. We landed up going home with them that night. They took us to an after party, which was like in this Chelsea mansion, and like I just was ordering Uber Eats the whole entire night, getting food. My friend was like landed up hooking up with the bartender, but she thought that it was his house. Like, she was like, I don't know, we've never been to a party before where like they just rent out a mansion and have a butler there for you. Like, we thought it was the guy's house and we were just going to one of their friends.
Oh, no one lived there?
No,
they just rented it.
Yeah. And then I just like landed up making friends with like the main guy, who was like really, really shy, really, really sweet, whatever. And he told me he wanted to see me the next day. And I was like, no, I can't. I have to go back to Cambridge because I need to get a dress because I'm going to Wimbledon with my friend Delia, with you, on Friday. And he was like, no, I'll take you dress shopping. So I was like, great. So the next day, he asked me where I want to go for lunch. I picked out a lunch spot, which was like opposite the road. Yeah, opposite the road from a shop where I like to buy dresses. But I have to buy them on eBay secondhand because they're so expensive. And
B.A. and I say.
B and Ash, yeah. We went to the shop after, like, spent lunch together. I remember feeling so bad. I was like, what, like, because he was sweet.
How old?
He was like 56. He was like sweet. He was telling me he was heartbroken by his girlfriend who was like 20 years old. And like how that family didn't have a lot of money, so he bought the girlfriend like his own flat and like whatever. And I was just like, okay, like, and he was like, yeah, but like she really loved me, but like, and the parents loved me, but like she broke up with me.
Had he been married before?
Yeah. I was like, how do you not see it? Anyways,
but he was divorced.
Yeah.
And had kids.
Yeah. And his kids lived in Canada. I was like, how do you not see that 20-year-old was just, I don't know, but maybe they did love each other.
How did he meet her?
And as you said, love and money are connected. How did he meet her? I don't know.
So out of context. I mean, I meant the energetics. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. It's like when you're anxious about love and you can be anxious about money as well. It's that's a whole nother topic. People are going to be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, love.
But like, if he does have a lot of money that he can give away and he wants to show his love, like, he can't do that in that way because...
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
But like...
Where's his money come from?
Property developer.
Okay. And where was he from?
I think Canada, but he was Indian. Yeah, we finished our lunch. We went to the shops. I walked in there like I was a queen, like literally trying on every single outfit, like all of these things that I'd pre-looked at on the website. And then it came time to pay, and I went to the till, and he was standing at the entrance of the shop, very far away from the till, looking at me. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? I'm gonna have to pay for this. All of it. Like, he wasn't buying me this dress.
He'd paid for lunch.
He'd paid for lunch.
What did you get?
Like, he ordered so much food. I didn't want to eat because, like, I wasn't...
What was he ordering?
Like, cauliflower cheese. Like, shit tons of food.
This was on the King's
Zucchini
Road.
fritters. Like, cocktails. Okay. There's just, like, a lot of food.
And he bought it all.
Yeah.
And
then he was like, do you want to go get your dress? And I was like, yeah. And then I bought a dress and shoes and like 3 other things. I mean, guys, there needs to be a manual somewhere because I just thought like he was going to buy it for me. But he was standing at the back and he was like... And then the girl asked for my card and I was like, I don't even have that money in my card. So I was like, right, okay, don't panic. I'm not embarrassed. I was embarrassed, but like, I was like, what, to the people at the shop? Like, no, it's fine. They might think it's a bit weird. I just was like, I need to call my dad because I don't have money on this account for this. So I walked outside and Maru could obviously see like that I was confused. And he was like, I'm sorry. Like, we've only been on 1 date. And I was like, it's fine. Like, please don't worry.
And nothing had happened between you guys.
No, nothing had happened. I was like, please don't worry. Like, I'm actually so sorry. Like, I was like, fuck, I'm using this guy. Like, this is so wrong. What am I doing? What am I trying to get from this experience? Like, I feel like I'm being fake. I've just like this, you know, this guy is giving me his, like, you know, he seems like he's giving me, he wants to spend time with me. He really likes me. Like, he said he really liked me. Like, I'm conning. Like, it's wrong. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I completely got the wrong impression. And I thought you were going to buy me this dress, but like, it's fine. There's no pressure. And like, let's just, like, I don't need anything. And he was like, no, not buy me the dress. He was like, how much would you spend on it? I made up like a random number and he bought it for me because it was like under that number. And then he also I was like, yeah, I'll buy the shoes. I bought the shoes and then I returned them the next day. But at a different bash shop because I was too mortified to see those people again. But yeah, I felt really wrong about it. I was like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, I didn't. Why? I guess I just want experiences.
Do you still have the dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dress.
I wore to Rosh Hashanah the other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, what's the end of the story with him?
Oh my God. Well, then the next night he invited me out again. And I convinced my one friend to come with me, who was there the night before, but she didn't, she actually was the one who ended up getting with the butler the night before. And then she went on a date I was going with this guy to get the dress. She went on a date with the butler, which lasted 30 minutes because the butler was like, oh yeah, I was like a heroin addict and I haven't paid any of my rent, so I'm homeless right now. And he was, yeah. But he was...
Hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. So Manu ran away from him. But then the next day I saw him again. We went out for drinks. I wore the dress he bought me. I went with my friend Manu. And then we landed up going to Sexy Fish again. And then we landed up going to Tramp or something. And Manu got spiked. And then we went home and I told Manu that I would never see him again. Because it was his friend who spiked Manu. Yeah.
That's horrible.
I know. Well, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, that was the end of it. It was wild.
And...
What did I learn from that?
And nothing ever happened.
Did I kiss him? Yeah! I kissed him. He took me back to his house and then he showed me a bedroom and he was like, this, you can stay here and I'll drive you to Cambridge whenever you need. And this can be your room. This can be your house. After meeting this guy after one date. Yeah. And
where was his place?
His place was in Earl's Court.
Was it nice?
It was nice, but I was actually kind of scared when I walked in because it was up normal floor, ground floor, and then it went underneath floor. And I just remember thinking fuck, if I scream, no one will hear me. But it was fine. He kissed me and I kissed him back and it was disgusting. And then I was like,
what do you think the chances are of this guy finding this podcast? Oh,
shame.
Poor guy.
Yeah. But he was like, you're the love of my life. He said that stuff to me. No, I swear my life. And I'm like, how?
After 2 days.
The kissing part was after the first date, after he bought me the dress. I did feel like it was so wrong. Come on, man.
It's fine, though. But
how do people actually believe, though, that I'm the love of their life after one date? Are they just fucking with me? And I think,
did he actually say that?
Yeah, you look at the messages.
Well, okay, but that's what I was saying. Maybe that's the thing with OnlyFans, that you want to experience it and you do it for 2 days and then you're like, oh, and then you come back on this podcast and you tell us how you go.
Yeah.
But then you're like, no, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah.
I think you're not doing anything illegal. You're not hurting anyone.
Would it hurt any potential career I want in engineering?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
you never know. I don't know why it would. I mean,
isn't there innocent stuff on there?
Yeah.
It's not like you're... Okay, but even if you were, in a illegal, I don't know. Even if you were doing some illegal thing, you started, I don't know, doing some illegal sex work, and then you're like, this isn't my thing anymore, and I don't want to do that. What's wrong with that? Or if you were doing it legally. Someone told me about, I don't know if this is bullshit, but there's this club in New York where all the girls are lawyers and bankers, and then they are the dancers or the escorts or whatever they are. But it's like for men who want to pay a lot of money for girls who work in professional jobs but also do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I feel if you are doing something in your free time that's legal, what's wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that most people think though that there is.
But if you turn up to the interview like not in your like nipple pasties or whatever
nipple pasties, yeah.
Then yeah, they might be like, well, this isn't appropriate for this job.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, I want to not come to work wearing clothes because I don't believe in clothes. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, you might not get the job. But if you, in your own personal time, are on a legal website.
Yeah.
But even if you do something illegal, it doesn't mean you can't get a job if you've done something illegal.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be doing anything illegal. I think on OnlyFans, like if you post, like you can post nude content, I think that's legal, no? Yeah. But I guess it's just like there's a lot of different opportunities out there, and there's so many options for everything in our lives with technology again. Like it's kind of like there's just endless amount of different things you can do, different things you can see, different like places you can go, and different information you can take in. And it's just like kind of there's almost like too much available. You know what I mean?
I think
decision fatigue.
I think the important thing for this though is to realize maybe that we should acknowledge that there are some people in like the sex industry or whatever, and I don't know heaps about this, but there are some people who don't have a choice, who have to work, or you know, obviously there's like sex slavery or something, but even in, you know, there's maybe people working in that industry who don't have a choice, and that's really horrible. But
yeah.
there are people who want to be a dancer, or yeah, you talked about doing burlesque, or like you want to do that, and it's not because, oh my god, you have nothing and you're a stripper, and it's like, no, you have pride in like the artistic, you know, the work you're doing, like dance and whatever, but you also have like so much, you have this degree and you're so clever and you have so much to bring to the world, and I think people, it's like you living your full potential. So it's like, okay, you're also doing this work. You have had these amazing opportunities and now you can do this work. But do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you were in a really bad place and you felt like, I don't have anything to offer the world except my body, because you like didn't believe in yourself. But I think it's different if you're like, no, have lots to offer the world and I'm so fortunate for my opportunities, but also this is a way that I express myself and it's completely healthy and safe. And maybe that was the experience with the sugar daddy, that you're like, I don't need this, like I don't need a guy to pay this stuff for me and it feels wrong. But it's good that you had to try it to figure that out for yourself.
But
it's fine, and you're like fine from it, right?
That's like, I knew it was never for me. Maybe I was like, oh, it would be nice to like someone to just buy this, but then like in actually doing it I realized like, fuck, there's so many like intricacies of this that just do not feel right, period.
But you've recovered from that, so I think that's the only thing. If you were like, I'm going to make this, put this content out there, and then later you're like, why did I do that? Oh my God. And then your whole life falls apart because it's like, everyone's found out and now I can never recover and there's so much shame. Then it's like, okay, well, be careful. Like for this podcast, if it's like, oh my God, if we put that out there, is the backlash going to be so bad? But it's like, actually, we're just trying to learn and explore, and it's fine. And if something's wrong, like we learn from it and we have the resilience. So same with the photos. If you're like, well, okay, I did this thing and that doesn't represent who I am anymore. But that's fine. Now I've taken it down, and it might exist somewhere, but that's fine.
What's on your wall?
If you're not embarrassed by who you were last year, you're not learning enough or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Although Neil was like, I don't think you have to be embarrassed. But yeah, that's...
Oh my God. Like...
Yeah, if you're not like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you learnt something.
Happens all the time.
But you seem like totally fine, so it's great. As in fine at... Yeah, no, I mean, it's good. It's really good. Because I can really beat myself up for stuff. Okay. Is there anything else? You didn't even talk about Sweden. You were in Sweden with the huskies.
Oh my God! I can talk about Sweden. Sweden was like, I don't know, it was like one of these, I'll just be honest, like I kind of romanticized the idea of getting a job that was like, you know, like barista or like kind of like working in a restaurant, working with the huskies. Like I idealized getting like a kind of, what kind of jobs are those?
Hospitality.
Like a hospitality job before I would go into like doing something in the engineering field or tech field and stuff like that. And I got this job in Sweden. I was like originally going to go look after the huskies, but like that was way too cold for me. It was negative 20 degrees outside. So I landed up just waitressing inside. And I was there for a month. I've just come back and I actually found it really, really tough. I think like it was just like completely black, like every single day it was dark. It was like light for like 2 hours maybe. It was negative 20 degrees outside. It was like cold. And you couldn't like, it was really just like this lodge in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of like all of this just snow. And it was interesting, like when I just arrived, I was like, wow, the snow is so beautiful on the trees and it's gorgeous and it's like lovely and it's like a little winter wonderland, but like you get so bored of it. Like I was like, oh my God, I just want to see like some color or like a bird or like I don't know, insects, like some kind of life. Like it was really, really secluded. And I knew that it would be secluded and I thought that like, oh, okay, I'm going to have like, you know, time to think there. But I wasn't able to be in a space where I felt like comfortable enough to be able to have like really like good thoughts. Like I was literally just, I don't know why I felt like I was in survival mode there. I was like, okay, I can eat food and I have a bed and I'm fine. And like every day was like, oh my God, like it just got more and more difficult every day being there. And it was really interesting because it was so secluded. There were like 20 staff members all working together and like it was so funny because like immediately we bonded so much, especially because there is nothing to do there except like guests come and they go on like husky tours or whatever, but there's only the nature and the nature always looks the same. You can't really walk outside for long periods of time. So like you stay indoors, you drink, you talk, you chat. And it was really interesting how quickly we all became really close because we all needed each other because like all you had was like your friends and your connections. And like every single little bit of gossip like that anyone would say was like the biggest deal. Like, you know, like just the smallest of things were like became such a big thing. And like your day, like the days were really simple. Like I'd be making coffees like in the restaurant and just like looking out the window, and like if a delivery van came like the one day, we'd all be like, oh, delivery van, like, oh, what's he doing, like the delivery van's here. Like it was like the smallest of things made you excited because there was nothing really going on.
Did you know anyone there?
I went with a girl who I was friendly with in Cambridge, but we kind of had like a bit of a falling out, and when I got there, I knew that I wanted to make friends with other people, and we didn't really speak actually. I didn't even say bye to her, which was kind of weird, but like it wasn't a health, like, in retrospect, my time in Cambridge with her wasn't very healthy. So like I think I would have maybe preferred some confrontation of like, hey, like, what's going on here? But like, and I did try, like, you know, say goodbye to her when I left. I left earlier than everyone. Like, everyone's staying there for 5 months, and I left after a month. But we didn't have any confrontation. We didn't even say goodbye to each other. I did like message her and say I'd like to see her in person, but we didn't. But like, it was still a good time. And like, then, like, I think our brains, like, whenever you think back to a time, our brains naturally do this thing of like making, like, seeing the bright side and romanticizing and making it seem better. And so I'm thinking back, I'm like, oh, it was quite nice. You know, we spent our evenings, like, we'd sneak into the jacuzzis and like we'd like sneak some booze from the bar and whatever, and like we'd, you know, get drunk. But I found it really, really difficult. I did enjoy meeting these people and like seeing how they can be so like happy and relaxed with what they were doing.
They were from all over.
Yeah.
So was it just like one hotel in this town?
Yeah.
Really small?
There was no town. It was one hotel.
Oh, because I've been to Finland, Lapland, but it's like the bigger town there.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, no one cares, Julia, about all the places that are on my Instagram. No, but that's so funny that it's like, when I really cared about Instagram, I mean, that's so funny that you're saying that, because from your Instagram as well, it's like that, like, I love being in the snow, and like your photos, it's like, you can look at how happy, like, oh my god, Izzy with the husky, like, she's so happy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the lies of Instagram, right? Because in actually what was going on is you were really not happy.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there were times I remember we'd go out at like 2:00 in the, like, time was completely irrelevant. Like, my flatmate Carmen, she went to bed at 6:00 in the morning and woke up at 3, because her shifts were like at 5 in the evening. Like mine, I had early shifts, so I had to wake up a bit earlier. But like, time was irrelevant because it was always dark outside. It wasn't like you were regulated by the sunlight. And it was funny, like sometimes we went out at 3 a.m. in the morning and like we had like snow fights and like we made like giant statues of penises and like whatever. I don't know, like we tried to entertain ourselves. But like...
And the people were from all over Europe.
Yeah, like Slovakia, Belgium, Dutch, lots of those kinds of people. And it's interesting, they were all like having a shitty time too, but like together and kind of enjoying it. But like, it just, I was happy to get out of there.
Were there many tourists?
Yeah, there were lots of guests, but like we didn't really get to interact with them that much. Like, I spoke to them as much as I could, like in the restaurant especially. I'd go chat and everything like that, but the job itself was so slow. Like, it killed me. Like, I was going nutty because like you can't be on your phone and like be like, I don't know, doing whatever stupid tasks you think are important that you make up to do, like,
yeah,
but you just have to stand.
I've done that in a chicken shop when it's busy. It's like so busy, it's amazing because you're just like going, but when it's not busy, it's so boring. And because you can't just be on your phone. You're
like, oh my god, I'm wasting my time. Yeah.
And you've like cleaned every surface. It's like, what else? You've like restacked everything. It's like, there's nothing.
Fuck, it's like torture.
Yeah.
But some people are chilled with that.
I don't know if anyone likes that. Do they?
I mean, the people are still working there now. But maybe they don't have an option. Actually.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Fucking hell.
Okay. You're learning. We're all learning here.
Yeah.
Like, you're experiencing stuff, you're trying different things.
Just trying different things, yeah.
And knowing that, I guess it probably hopefully it makes you realise, like, you are super fortunate to have this education that gives you opportunities that other people don't have access to. Which is, like, a result of, yes, your background, but also, like, the hard work you've put in to get that.
Yeah.
And your natural talents.
Yeah. I also feel like what I've learned through all of this is that, like, you can't, like, I guess we have this idea of, like, this bucket list, even in life, of, like, you know, definitely in how we travel. Like, I want to see this, I want to see this, I want to see this. And in life, you can extend that to as well. Like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Like, sometimes, like, life just isn't as simple as that, as saying, like, oh yeah, I want to have a marriage, and I want to have, like, kids, and I want to have, like, this, I want to go see the Eiffel Tower, and I want to do this and this and this. Like, I was like, I want to do the backpacking, discover myself, I want to do Sweden and have these experiences and this. Like, you can't just sometimes write things down on a list and tick it off. It doesn't really work like that. Like, whatever happens is going to happen. And, like, just because you have these ideals of doing that thing doesn't mean it's going to be necessarily good or bad. Whatever happens will happen. Maybe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things you can't control. Your life, you don't know how it's going to pan out.
Yeah.
But you can just kind of focus on something, take responsibility, head in a direction, and see what happens. I was just going to say that's so funny. Okay, like, for example, if Neil or someone is listening to this,
hi Neil.
like, me being like, oh my god, this one time in New York I, like, didn't wear a bra, and then meanwhile you're like, love. I just, like, you're probably like, Julia, what the fuck?
I don't own a bra.
So funny. But also, okay, God forbid, like, anyone who I know in a professional way listens to this podcast, but anyway, all my parents. But because a lot of the people who read my newsletter are, like, really lovely, like, mentors and things, like, in their 50s and 60s. And I'm like, I don't want you to have to listen to this stuff. No, because I guess I am just more conservative, and that's fine. Like, I think this is the thing about freedom, right? That you're like, I like going to sex clubs or whatever, and I'm like, cool, like, I could do that, but I'm not that interested. But it's not like, oh my god, I wish I could do that, but I have so much shame, or, like, you know, or, like, my culture says I can't, or I'm worried what people think. It's more like, cool, I'm free to, like, dress, to post photos like that if I want, and if I don't want. Like, I think that's the important thing, that people feel safe and free to do that.
Yeah, totally. And you can see that you do. Like, you're confident with your, like...
No, well, I think, as you can see from this, I'm, like, not that confident. I'm, like, getting more confident. But, so I was going to say, in Copenhagen, I went swimming in the harbour.
Oh my god!
I love this ice water, cold water stuff. And so I was like, I'm going swimming in the harbour. It was, like, frozen. And I was like, how do I go in? Like, where are the change rooms or whatever? And the guy's like, no, the local guy, whatever, who I met, was like, no, people just take their clothes off and get in. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna do that. Because I was like, that's easier than, like, carrying wet bathers around. Like, I brought my bathers. And then I did that.
And how did you feel? Well,
I was like, cool, if this is just what people do here, and that's how Danish people are, and that's, like, except the next day I went and was more like a bathing club and everyone was wearing their bathers. But I was, like, completely by myself. That makes it sound like this guy was a creep and he was, like, just wanted to... But it wasn't. He was, like, not watching and there was no one around. So I was like, amazing. That's so freeing. And
that's so liberating.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the healthiest stuff. If people feel free, if it's like, this is a place where this is socially acceptable. But if you have shame around that, which I do, I'm, like, embarrassed to say that because I'm like, oh my god, if my mum heard this, she would be horrified. I mean, I was already like, look where I went swimming. And she's like, oh, that is so dangerous. Like, was anyone around? Did someone try and rescue you? Like, hypothermia? And I'm like, no, it's like cold water's really good for you and whatever. But
Oh my
anyway.
gosh.
But I think it might be an Australian thing. It's like very conservative. But it's like, okay, you're in a country where this is how they do it. And there doesn't need to be shame around that. I think that's a positive thing. And then it's like, there's choice. Like, you can do that and you don't have to do that.
Totally. And not everyone needs to do that. And there could be designated spaces for that. And like, there are these types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was just thinking of Neil because the first day you met him, you like just got fully changed in front of him.
Really?
At Henley when you guys came to see me row.
I just got naked in front of him.
Outside the house. Do you remember?
No!
You were like, I'm going to change into this yellow dress.
Oh my god, yeah! I remember that.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
As in, you're just way more free with it. Which is great. But it's funny me being like, I'm so conservative with this stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, but it's like just, there's nature and nurture to it, I think. Because I think I've always been like that.
I think it's also you can tell in changing rooms. Like in Australia, it's like, or Australians who come to the UK, they're like, oh my god, people are naked in the changing rooms. Like, whoa. Because in Australia, it's so like, cover up. What's it like in South Africa?
I don't know. I never went to... I mean, no. Like, so I was a dancer. There in changing rooms, everyone's just getting naked everywhere. Okay. But like, I never went to the gym because like it's too triggering for my eating disorders. So like, I don't think.
Well, then like you have Japan. Oh yeah, because we went on a rowing trip to Japan. So Japan, the baths, you like all are bathing, like everyone together, like in the hotel. There's like communal baths where you sit on this stool and like hose yourself down, and then it's like this bath, and when we went at school, like our rowing coach was like, you can't wear bathers, like it's really disrespectful. And we were like, ew, like wearing bathers, like we all were like, but then actually now my mum has gone with her friends, and first it was like, oh, I don't want to do that bathing situation and have to do that. But then at some point, I guess it's like, okay, if this is what we're doing. So yeah, I think, okay, I don't know how we ended up talking about this. But it is like the cultural thing. It's like, what's everyone else doing? Like if you're on a nudist beach and you're the only person wearing clothes, it's like, then you're the one who's like the weird one. Yeah,
I mean, everything that we do in our life is like, is like culturally constructed. Like, why do we have breakfast, lunch and dinner? And why do we sit like this on the couches? Why are they designing this? I don't know. Like, there's just so many things. Like, why when we act in very specific ways, we dress in very specific ways, like, and it's interesting to try think of like, oh, what if this was done a different way? Like, because it could be. Just because we do everything we do now doesn't mean it's like the right way or the best way.
Yeah. I did not think this was what we were going to be talking about, but there we go.
We've talked about such a variety of things.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
No. I don't think so. No.
I was going to say, do you want to give your Instagram handle?
Chonky Marshmallow.
Oh. Do you accept random people if they follow you?
No. No. I like look, well, like, I think I've accepted a few random people. Like, if they are, one, not a bot and don't have a number in their name. They're not from South Africa, because then maybe, like, they're not random and I don't want to have like a what?
Oh my god, sorry, I was just thinking I met someone who knows you. I met someone totally random at Toastmasters. It's so funny. The thing where you learn how to do speaking. Oh I went along to one. Anyway, and he knows you.
Who is he?
I was telling him about the podcast and I was like, oh, he's from Cape Town.
Ah! Who is he?
And I was like, well, yeah. I was like, I interviewed someone from Cape Town. There's no way you know her. Like, how big's Cape Town, but I was like, oh, unless you're Jewish. And he's like, I am Jewish. I was like,
Oh my god, who was it?
I'll tell you after.
Okay. I'm so excited. I'm intrigued.
But so what if someone listens to this and it's like, I want to tell Izzy that she's awesome and I met a sugar daddy once too, and then do you want people to be able to contact you or not?
Yeah, sure. Chunky Marshmallow.
Or on LinkedIn.
I'll just have to, on LinkedIn! Yeah!
Or if people want to...
I do have a LinkedIn. I've actually just started my LinkedIn because I'm starting to look for jobs that are available on LinkedIn. It's Isabella Sandak-Lewin.
Maybe I'm thinking for a job, you could do a job that like combines your interest. Like you could do an engineering job that's like...
I'd like to
I had a women's run sex toy company. So
I wanted to do a sex toy company.
One of my best friends in Melbourne worked at a sex toy company in Berlin.
Really? No,
Yeah,
that would be a dream.
She's also been on this podcast.
Really?
Lola.
Oh my god. Lola. I want to meet Lola.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Any final words of wisdom to wrap up?
Any final words of wisdom?
Final book, reco.
Oh, yes. Affluence without abundance.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time.
Yeah. Or, okay, another book reco is The Peaceful Warrior.
What's that about?
By Malcolm Gladwell. It's
no.
about...
Sorry.
The Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
All his books, and that's not by him. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Way of
I'm
the
just
Peaceful
looking
Warrior.
Dan Millman.
Oh. Fuck. Edit that out.
I don't edit anything, so it's in.
No, yeah.
No, it's fine. Oh, it's an autobiography. Kind of.
I haven't finished reading it, but I was recommended it.
And you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Great.
Love you guys.